The Oilers have known for weeks now that the Blackhawks will be their opponents. How much of a luxury is that? Like, how much of a difference does it make knowing who your opponents could be for a play-in round when it comes to preparing in training camp like this?
Well, normally you would get about 4 days. The season would end on a Sunday or a Saturday, and then you play on a Wednesday. And sometimes you can get 2 or 3 weeks, so you kind of know you're locked into playing a certain team. So you kind of, in the back of your mind, the Oilers then are sending a pro scout to watch that team play for a couple of weeks to get their tendencies and stuff like that to prepare for the team they're playing. In this case, they have known it's the Blackhawks for a long, long time. They have the third or fourth youngest team in the league. They also have Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews and Duncan Keith, who won 3 Stanley Cups. Now, they haven't won a Stanley Cup lately, but they're still, obviously have a pedigree of winning. And I think if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you would like to prepare for the fact you're playing Corey Crawford in goal and get his tendencies, but he hasn't been at camp phase 3 at all. So it looks like it's going to be Malcolm Subban, who hardly played when he was backing up Marc-Andre Fleury in Vegas. And Colin Delly didn't play a game this season in the National Hockey League, the American League. So that makes it a little different. But I guess the one player you've got all the time in the world to watch tape of video of Patrick Kane, who gets 2 points every time he plays the Edmonton Oilers. Certainly in regular season, I think it's 48 points over the last 25 games. So he's their most dangerous player, and they have to figure out some way to stop him from getting 1 or 2 points a game.
And you can't discount the fact. I mean, the Blackhawks are the core of the roster are responsible for winning 3 Stanley Cups here in the last not quite decade. So you have Jonathan Toews, you have Patrick Kane, you've got Duncan Keith, all these decorated players. I know they're closer to the end of their careers than the beginning. They're veterans, but you can't discount that experience in the playoffs, can you?
Well, those 3 players have certainly got way more experience than any Oiler. The Oiler with the most playoff games is James Neal with 104, and they certainly weren't with the Edmonton Oilers. They were in Pittsburgh, and they were in Nashville, and they were in Vegas, and they were in Calgary and such. So they didn't. All his 104 games are with other teams, not this team. And other than that, Chris Russell's, got about half of that. So most of the older players have played one playoff round, and that was in Anaheim in 2016-17. So they're kind of newbies to this. And playoff, you're right. The players you mentioned, Keith, Toews, and Kane. Kane I think, is still the player he's always been. Toews' game has dropped off a little bit, and Duncan Keith, for all the minutes he plays, you have to take a look at his age, and he's not 27 anymore. He's 32, 33 years old, so he's older. And Brett Seabrook's the other one, but he's coming off double hip surgery and shoulder surgery, and he's been practicing, but we're not sure.
Yeah, and I would have mentioned Seabrook too, but clearly he's dropped on the depth chart for the Blackhawks. He's no longer a top pairing defenseman. He's a depth guy.
The depth guy. So they have some really good young players, though. They're Kirby Docks from Fort Saskatchewan, and he had an excellent rookie season, and he's going to get a lot of work. He's playing with Dominic Kubalik, who's one of the 3 finalists for Rookie of the Year, and former Oiler Drake Caggiula on a really good line. And he looks like he's going to be a star. So, and they have DeBrincat, who's a young player, and Dylan Strome's a young player. Kubelik's not terribly old, so they do have some younger players. What they don't have is, if Crawford can't play, is a veteran goaltender, and their defense isn't anywhere near what it used to be when they had Yarmelson and Seabrook and Keith at the top of their game. So that's their weakness. I think they can score enough to beat the Oilers in certain games, but defensively they're not as good.